lifetime trainings, and I have overall 8 years into data warehousing experience and 7 years into exclusively for Datastage, IBM Datastage. And apart from Datastage, I do have Informatica experience, and currently I'm associated with a banking client in Hyderabad. So this is all about myself. Historical data, right? So the customers preferably, they want the data for, long drive, 10 years back data, and for future also 10 years data they want to store it. 10 years back data means old data as well as current data as well as future data they want to store it. That's the reason they want to store this much of data. They need the big database. So that's the way data warehouse has been implemented. So data warehouse can be anything kind of database, like Oracle database, Teradata database. These are the databases basically. I think you are familiar with Oracle at least, right?
Yeah,
So
I know a little bit about Oracle.
yeah, that's what Oracle. You can make it Oracle as a data warehouse. So one second.
Okay.
Right. Warehouse is to maintain the huge data. So it's nothing but it's a database, or a Oracle database, or else Teradata database, anything it could be. It's a RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. Data warehousing is a combinations of the databases like RDBMS. What do you mean by RDBMS and all? Maybe any kind of database, Oracle, Teradata, all these comes under relational database management systems. So similarly, your data warehousing is like a database. Exactly, you can say that you can maintain data warehouse. So you want to maintain data warehousing as a Oracle database? Yes, you can maintain. As a Teradata database? Yes, Teradata database warehouse. You can name it as a Teradata database warehouse, data warehouse. Anything could be possible. So that means your data warehousing is like a database. It's a database. So where we can store huge data, lots of data, not like Oracle might be any terabytes of the data, up to some 10 terabytes of the data, or else 100 terabytes of the data you can store into the Oracle database. But data warehouse is not like that. It's unlimited data you can store it. How you can make it? So by maintaining or by increasing the database sizes. That will be done by your DBS. You are not into the part. But only the thing is, you must to know that data warehouse is to maintain the historical data. It's a huge data you can maintain, or you can store it. So what is the purposes? We are going to maintain this much of data? Maybe for future analysis. To whom? To whom it is going to be useful? For business users. Take a retailers, Walmart for example. So how they are maintaining the data warehousing system? Walmart has the biggest data warehousing in the world. Okay, why they need data warehousing? They want to go for analysis, business analysis. What they're going to exactly they are analyzing? Just they started up, almost 15 years back their business. Now till then, the 15 years data they are maintaining into the data warehousing. Maybe another 10 years, 20 years also they are going to maintain into the same data warehousing system. So what's the purposes that they are maintaining? They are just daily basis data they are maintaining to analysis. Their daily basis data they are analyzing. Like how they are analyzing? Analysis can be done either day before yesterday. What was the sales being done from the Walmart? They are looking up the data. Enter the day before yesterday, and yesterday data also they are going to maintain. So yesterday how much their sales been done, how much products sold it, and what the profit they got it yesterday's as per sales, and they are going to compare with the day before yesterday and yesterday's. So today, then based upon the yesterday and day before yesterday, they are going to analysis. They are going for the analysis on the today's business. That is how your data warehousing is going to be utilized. Suppose today, so Walmart has come up with a new products. Now they are going to market and they want to sell it. So how they are going to do? By decreasing the prices comparatively yesterday and day before yesterday. They want to make it good market. They want to sold many products today, because yesterday they got something like 10% of profit, and day before yesterday just 8% profit only. But today they want to make the profit by at least 12 to 15%. How they are going to make it? So by doing some kind of offers, by different offers, doing all such things. So how they are going to do all analysis by previous day and day before yesterday, all the data they are looking from the data warehousing system. So that is how they are going to take the decisions for today's sales. On today's sales, they are going to take the decisions by based on previous data. So that is how your data warehousing will be utilized. So in your data warehousing system, all the data you can see it. Day before yesterday, yesterday's data, and today's data also you can make it, and tomorrow you can make the decision. Okay, for these 3 days, today we got the sales being done like this. So tomorrow we have to increase the sales. So you can make the decision. You can make the decision at the same time you can take the decision. That is how your data warehousing will be used for the decision maker system. That's the reason sometimes we are going to call data warehousing is a decision supporting systems. So only mainly data warehousing is used or utilized for analysis the data. Who is going to analyze? Your business users, your clients, your customers. They are going to analyze their business. So that is how they are going to maintain the data warehousing systems. So this is the main concept, main advantage with the data warehousing. That's the reason you can see that in our throughout the world at this moment. So lots of data warehousing systems have been implemented, and even implementing from the main users, especially healthcare domains. If you talk about United Health Group, largest healthcare domain, they have it. All projects into the majorly they are going to implement all the data with the data warehousing systems. In data warehousing systems also, they have a different tools are available to implement the data warehousing systems. We required some ETL tools. I'll come to that point. Okay, so first let me talk about the data warehousing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, so you can see that this is the data warehousing systems. Before data warehousing, this is the basic common architecture for any client will choose this basic architecture. And maybe some customers need some more flavors to this basic architecture. Then based upon their requirement, they'll add up some architectures. But this is the basic architecture. First you will have your source systems, which is your left side. In the screen you can see that in the left pan you can see all these source systems. All your source systems may be having daily data, maybe today's data, yesterday's data, day before yesterday's data. All this kind of data you can have it in your different source systems. That source systems data having some discrepancy. What kind of discrepancy you can see here? So maybe your source discrepancy means what kind of discrepancies you can expect, like duplicate records. Just suppose you are the bank, you have an account with one bank called Bank of America. You have an account with the Bank of America. Today you made some transactions in the morning. You just directly went to the bank and you have deposited some amount in your account, some $2,000 or $3,000 you have just deposited. That is called one transaction. Okay, in the afternoon you required some amount to transfer to your colleague or other persons. Then what you have done? So you have used net banking. Through internet you have used the net banking. These are the channels. You just directly deposited your amount into your account itself. It's a one kind of channel, direct depositing. Okay, in the afternoon you made one transaction through net banking. That is also one kind of channel. These are all called channels in the banking terminology, channels. Okay, in the afternoon you made one more transaction. What was the transaction? You transferred some amount to your friend or colleague, whatever it may be, some $1,000 or something. So that is going to be stored under your bank source systems as a second record. And the evening also you made one more transaction. What was that? You just directly go to the ATM center and you have withdraw some amount, something like $1,000 something. So that is called one more transaction. So you morning you made the transactions by directly visiting the bank itself, and afternoon you made transaction with just through net banking, through internet channel. And but in the third transaction it is going to be ATM center. That is also one kind of channels. These are also called in banking domain terminology channels. Okay, channels. So these all transactions, daily transactions, we can call it as a daily transactions. Like that, lakhs of customers are there with the Bank of America. If I'm talking about the Bank of America, if you talk about Citibank, if you talk about our nationalized banks like our Indian Bank or Andhra Bank, whatever it is, so thousands of customers daily they'll do the transactions. All the daily transactional data will be stored under your source systems. All banks will have your daily transactions will be stored under their initially their source systems. After that, they are going to do some kind of transformations. I'll come to that point. First of all, you have done 3 transactions. By end of the day, all your 3 transactions. So these are 3 transactions. Each transaction is going to be detailed transaction. Detailed transaction. Detail means at what time you have visited the bank. I mean, at what time you have done the transaction. Everything, start time, end date, end time, everything will be stored with a record. As a record, it is going to be stored. Suppose you have your information will be stored under customer table. Bank will have a customer table, right? Suppose Sirisha made one transaction, so customer table will have what are the columns. At least you might have knowledge on the table database, right? Can you tell me that any table under
customer
the tables,
name.
what we are going to? Yes, exactly.
Customer number.
Customer ID or customer number, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Start time, end time, right? Yeah.
Money.
Amount. Yes.
Amount, sir.
Available balance. Okay. Location, everything we can maintain location also. Customer name is Sirisha. Okay. Customer ID something, just number. Something like start time. You made one transaction in the morning at 9 a.m. If you say that, within 5 minutes you done the transaction. This will be stored under the banking source systems. Amount is something like $2,000 you have deposited in your account. So already in your account already $1,000 are there already. So now 2,000 plus 1,000 will become a $3,000. This is the detailed record. We are going to say that one transactions will be stored as a one record. So each transactions will be stored as a records, and that records we are going to call as a detailed records, because at what time every information will be stored on the particular time. And afternoon, one more transactions you made, that is same 1 2, and afternoon 12 p.m. say that within 5 minutes you made the transaction. Now this time you have through ATM center. Okay, so otherwise net banking, you can say that net banking you are transferring the money. How much you are transferring the money? Same $2,000. Now that time, what was the available balance? You made the net transfer $2,000 to your friend or whatever it is, colleague. Already it was there 3,000, right? So 2,000 plus 1,000, 3,000. Now you have removed the 2,000 rupees. Now available balance is $1,000 again, right? Now in the evening, one more transactions you made at 4 p.m. Say that 4 p.m. This is through ATM center. One more channel, okay? Within 2 minutes, you made the transaction, that is withdraw some amount like $500. Now your available balance is still $500. So if you talk about this one, all will be stored as a detailed record on the daily basis transactional data on your source systems, because you made all these three transactions within the same day. So all these records are going to be stored under the bank systems as a daily transactional data. So, but by end of the day, your bank manager will see all your data as a report. So now you are made three transactions in the day, right? By end of the day, after 6 p.m. or something, you cannot do any transactions. If you try to do any transactions, that will be reflect to the next day's transaction, if you observe or not. 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, as per your US banking, I'm not sure. But in India, you cannot make any net transfers, or you cannot make any transfers after 6 p.m. all your all your detailed records are going to be now summarized. So by end of the day, so all your detailed records are going to be summarized. How it is going to be summarized? All your three records will become a single record, because bank managers want to see that by end of the day, all the customer data will be shown as a summarized data. Then in that case, your records, your transactions, your detailed records will become a summarized record. How it is going to be summarized? Now you will see that. Shirisha 1212 and start time morning 9 a.m. The bank will open at 9 a.m. Okay, till 6 p.m. right? After that amounts, there will be no record will be updated for the amount, but available balance amount is going to be updated as $500. This is the record. It is going to be summarized. This is a summarized record from all the detailed records. The summarized record, aggregated record, whatever it is, you can say it as. It's a summarized record. You can say that this is the entire the day balance amount. It will show as a entire record for the this record. It is going to be stored under your data warehousing system. So all your detailed records will be there into your source systems. You can see that this is your source systems, which has all your detailed records. Now your detailed records became summarized data. How you made it? By doing ETL process. How you made into the summarized data? How you made it? There is a aggregations, you know, right? Aggregation functions like, you know, max, minimum, summarization, averages, right? All these functions you can perform. How you made it? By using the ETL. In ETL, there is a processing. You can perform any kind of aggregations. You can find out any cleansing process. You can perform any kind of rule apply, transforming the data. All the things are possible within the ETL layer area. ETL layer area comes under your data warehousing. So once you summarize this record, once you've done the summarization, this record is going to be stored under your data warehousing system. Now your data warehousing has summarized data. Always your data warehousing will contain summarized data only. Please remember, always will stores under the data warehousing what kind of data? It's a summarized data. It's a purified data. Why? Because purified data, because if you look at the customer level, these are going to be duplicate records. These are going to be, first record will be original record. If you look at the customer name, it's repeating. So daily basis data will see as a, if you make it as a Sirisha as the key column, it will become a duplicate records. All these two records will become a duplicate records. That's the reason you will not maintain any kind of customer name. On customer name, you never mention as a key column. Always your key column would be customer ID. In that case also, it's repeating. Customer IDs are repeating. Then what you are going to do? You are going to generate the surrogate key. On customer ID, you are going to generate the surrogate key. What do you mean by surrogate key? It's a system generated sequence numbers key. Okay. First customer ID, it will show as the 1. Second customer ID, it will show as the 2. And third customer ID, I mean, with the same repeated numbers, it will generate the sequence numbers. It will show as the 1, 2, and 3. That is how you are going to make the surrogate key on repeated values, especially on primary keys. Primary key means, I'll come to that point, everything. Primary key, surrogate key, I'll explain you. Because since you are not much aware of the database as well as data warehousing concepts, I'm going to train you as per my requirement, and so you will see the course content once done with the demo. I'll let you know that. Okay, so yes, so data warehousing basically which has summarized data, historical data. Suppose historical data means, as I explained you, Walmart, how they are maintaining the data. Even if you talk about Vodafone, so what these people are doing, the business, sales business, they are maintaining under the database or data warehousing system, and based on the data which they are available in the data warehousing system, they are going to analyze the business. They are doing the business based upon the data warehousing system, purely on the data warehousing system, because daily sales they are maintaining, they are storing under the data warehousing system, and they are comparing, okay, yesterday we got this much of sales, today we need to increase the sales product, how we can make it. They are going to take the decision. They are just making the decisions by based on the previous information, previous data, previous sales, whatever it may be. You can see that kind of data, all this kind of data you can store under the data warehousing, so that your business wants to make it into make sure that want to be a good platform. So obviously you need to implement the data warehousing. That is how the vendors and customers or clients, they are believing the data warehouse will give the 100% knowledge share to the business. That is how the data warehousing is going to be utilized. And coming to the data warehousing, yes, to implement this kind of data warehousing, to make the summarized data or to cleansing data, always data warehousing which contains what kind of data? Summarized data. At the moment, it's a clean data, clean platform data, nothing, discrepancy you can see. So that kind of data you can store under your data warehousing. Always you will see the discrepancy or disturbed data within your source systems only, as we have seen that gone through. So based upon this Sirisha, it's going to be another record will become a duplicate record. That's the reason we are making it to the comfort platform. So all your end of the day you will see the summarized data, and then you will not see here this in this record there is no repeated record, there is no duplicate record. This summarized record will have a unique record, which is a one record by based upon the customer level, right? That data we are storing into the data warehouse. There is no chance of find out all this kind of discrepancy over there in the data warehousing. That is how we are going to maintain the data warehousing. Not only this one, if I talk about, so just 10-15 years back data, that's we can call it as a old systems. Old systems have the date format as a DD. If you are no or not, I'm not sure. DD mm YYY format. Always old systems will used to read this date format as a DDMM YYY format, but our current systems always after Y2K resolved, right? Y2K problem has resolved. Now date format should read as a YYY DD format. So now what's the problem? So 15 years back, some clients have used the data warehousing system like Novartis, Chevron. All these clients having the 20 years back itself, they implemented the data warehousing. So that time they have the systems used to read the date format as like this. But after Y2K, so they must to read this date format as a YYY MMDD. In that case, what they have to do, what they're supposed to do, they need to migrate the data from this date format to this date format. So in that case, what we are going to use ETL tools. ETL tools will perform the transformations. Any kind of date from not only for the date formations or data formations, we have seen that we are making from detailed data to summarized data. So in that case, what we have used? Some ETL tools. In ETL tools, we perform the aggregations in this scenario. In this scenario, summarization. Okay. In this scenario, what we have to do it? What we have to do? So date formations are required since we are going to apply some date formation changes in the ETL. So this is how your ETL tools will be utilized to make the data into the required format. It's not only for cleansing process, it will transform the data. That's the reason in ETL transformation. T stands for transformation. First extraction. E stands for extraction, T stands for transformation, and L stands for loading. Okay. E means you are extracting the data from your source systems which has some discrepancy, like duplicate records are there, some in data level date format is not required in the power format level. So you have to do all the formation changes. Then in that case, what you have to do, first of all, you have to extract the data, then only you can transform the data, right? So in that case, you are going to extract the data into the ETL processing area. After extraction is done, you are performing the transformations based upon your requirement. format. Once transformation is done, you are simply loading the data into the data warehousing. Then in that case, just data warehousing will be used to store the data. Loading the data purposes only we are going to use. What kind of data you are storing? It's a summarized data, it's a purified data, it's a cleansed data, which has all the required business formats within the data warehousing. That kind of data you are storing the data into the data warehousing. Now this data will be used for the business users to analyze the data. For analysis or analyzing the data, business data from the data warehousing, how the business users choose. So they need the report level, because always your business managers or clients will prefer to see all the data through reports, because they will have the functional knowledge. They can easily analyze their business through reports only. That's the reason in entire the data warehousing, how you have seen the ETL, right? Similarly, you can see the reporting tools to make the data or pull the data from the data warehousing. You are going to use reporting tools. You are going to use the reporting tools to make the business users to comfort zone to analyze their business. Especially for the analyze the business, we are going to use the reporting tools. So that's the reason you can see that it's a pretty basic architecture for entire the data warehousing clients. So first of all, your data warehousing, to implement the data warehousing, you required ETLs, right? Because you require transformations, then only you can load the data into the data warehousing. So in that case, to implement the data warehousing, initially you required the ETL tools. So similarly, after data warehousing has been implemented, what you required, your reporting tools are important. So in entire your data warehousing technology build up with ETL tools and reporting tools. In our entire the data warehousing technology, there are different ETL tools list. I'm just going to provide you here. First ETL tool, which is best and ever green tool, I can say that Informatica. Informatica, it's a best ETL tool. Then IBM Datastage. IBM Datastage is the second ETL tool, but now IBM Datastage is dominating Informatica because its product has been acquired by IBM since. So at the same time, IBM has implemented major architecture into the Datastage. So that's the reason IBM Datastage is dominating entire the data warehousing ETL tools now. Okay, not only these two tools, you can see that Ab Initio. So these are the major ETL tools. Similarly, for example, so I can say that lots of ETL tools, but for example, I just informed you. And coming to the reporting tools, so best reporting tool is Cognos. This product also acquired by company IBM Cognos. Next, business objects, BO, business objects. This product also acquired by company called SAP. Okay. Next, MicroStrategy. So these are the best reporting tools forever, MicroStrategy and all. Coming to the ETL tools list, Informatica and IBM Datastage are the competitors in entire the technology. So major projects you can see in both the ETL tools. So Ab Initio is a very costliest tool. That's the reason very rare customers are going to choose this one. It's a best GI based ETL tool, but it's a costliest tool. That's the reason most of the vendors will prefer to use either Informatica or IBM Datastage. Alright, so this is where you can see that, yeah, coming to the Datastage tool, yeah, very best with lots of parallelism. There is a parallelism concept. You will understand why the customers are choosing them. So because of the parallelism which the IBM has implemented in the Datastage tool, the way of architecturing all the servers and all, that's the reason. So IBM Datastage tool has been implemented with a major ETL tool list. Okay. So now you can see here your source systems will be having some discrepancy over there. That discrepant data you are going to extract into the ETL processing area. Once you are extracting, you are going to apply some transformations where how you required into the business as per business. After transformation is done, your L stands for loading to where? Into your data warehousing. Now, once your data warehousing has some, summarized data, whatever it is, purified data, you are pulling this data to the report level. So this report level data will be viewed for the business users. There, they can make the decisions by analyzing the data from the data warehousing systems through reports, right? So that is where your basic architecture. And coming to my course content, I would train you on data warehousing concepts. As I told you, OLTP. So always your source systems are called. Here you can see that your source system, which can store daily transactional data. That source systems are called OLTP, online transactional processing data. Online transactional processing means daily transactional data. Bank will have daily transactions, right? Similarly, we are going to name it as a OLTP system. I'll explain you everything in detailed way. So since we don't have time to give more information, since it's going to be demo, I'm not going to provide you all the information. It's very easy technology. Data warehousing is a very easy technology and very easy grasp to any other people, like other who has come up with MS. Lots of people have trained, like civil engineering, and all the people have come across into the data stage and they got the job. That's what I can give you. Okay, information, right? That's the reason. It's a purely coming to this architecture, ETL, right? And reporting tools all are GUI based, graphical user, just drag and drop. Simply you need to drag and drop. That's where you can learn it easily. So very easiest tool, very easy technology. That's the reason I'm talking about. Data warehousing is a very easy technology. So easy to get the job as well, because without a data warehousing, there is no vendor, there is no customer. So even simple, very HDFC, if we talk about Indian HDFC, they are also implementing the data warehousing because they are required. Maybe the future business, they may go up. So that's the reason they are implementing the data warehousing. ICICI, they have already data warehousing system. I'm talking about the nationalized banks, right? So SBI also, they are going to implement now soon. They are going to implement the data warehousing system. They are already having very less smaller data warehousing systems, but majorly they are going for the big data warehousing systems because customers are increasing. Lots of transactions are happening, so they want to make comfortable in their business perspective. That's the reason they are implementing all the way. Okay, right? So I'm going to train you on all the data warehousing concepts. In the data warehousing concepts, you will understand that what is ETL and what do you mean by OLTP systems, what do you mean by overlap systems. OLTP systems are nothing but your daily transactional data which stores into the systems. Those systems are called your OLTP systems. Sometimes we can call it as a source system. Source systems or else OLTP systems. At the same time, if you are reporting all the data from the data warehousing system, right? You are pulling the data and you are showing in a reporting perspective way, right? So this is systems where reporting. So all the reportings are going to be utilized to analyze the data, analyze the business, right? So that's the reason all this data, reporting data, we can name it as a OLAP, online analytical processing, OLAP. So you can see in the course content, OLAP, online analytical processing. So before ETL and data warehousing, you can see the OLTP systems. After data warehousing, you can see the OLAP systems. Okay, in detail I'll explain you all with the once we confirm the sessions. I'll let you know all these things. And not only data warehousing concepts, there is a concept called data modeling, very important concept, which some of the trainers are skipping out because they want to save the time, so they don't want to go for. But since it is required, because as per my experiences, I can guide you, like definitely it may required, because this is not your role. Because data models, data modeling, what do you mean by data modeling? You are modeling the data. Suppose customer, all the customer data should be into the customer table, all your related sales data should be into the sales table. How you are making, you are modeling the data, related data should be into the one area. So that is how you are modeling, right? That knowledge you must be aware before ETL development, ETL Datastage, ETL Informatica, whatever it is. Before starting up your project, you require this knowledge. That I am sure that as you are a developer, maybe you will not involve to create this data modeling. So because data modelers means architects, your entire the project architects, they are going to create this data modelings. Okay, but since you are involving in the project, you must be aware this knowledge. What based upon this data modeling, you can able to understand. Once you start up your project, you will be able to understand what is your source, what is your target, from which table to which table you are loading. So you will be able to understand by looking at the data modelings. That is where your data modelings are going to be helpful. That's the reason I'm going to train you on the data modelings. Okay, there are 6 data models available in entire the data warehousing life cycle. In that, especially dimensional data modeling is very important. Okay, so why the 6 data models? The look and feel, the representation, by based on that they divided these data models, 6 data models. Okay, in that one of the data model called dimensional data modeling. So you will be very accurate, will be secured before starting up your project. Majorly you will get 95% of chance to get the dimensional data modeling as a data model, other than remaining 5 models. 95% clients will choose dimensional data modeling only. So you just look at the by seeing this dimensional data model, you can able to understand, okay, in our Datastage tool, I'm going to take sources these many tables, I'm going to see this these many target tables, which is customer table to employee table. I'm just going to load it from sales table to something like in location table. I'm just loading it. So you'll be able to understand by seeing this one. Okay. So once your data model concepts, dimensional data modeling concepts, everything over, we are going to start up the tool. In IBM Datastage tool, especially, we are going to concentrate on the architecture differences, because lots of versions have come up. Latest version is 9.1, but prior to 9.1 is 8.7. 9.1 only beta version has been released, but 8.7 is the standardized version, which we are going to install in your system. That 8.7 Datastage software. So you must have at least prerequisites like 6 GB RAM should be at least you must have. Windows 7 OS is the more required operating system for Datastage 8.7. But anyhow, even though if you don't have 7 Windows, we are going to install under VMware virtual machine, and that Windows 7 we are going to install, and Datastage tool 8.7 is going to be installed in your system. That we will, our admins are going to take care. That's not a problem. Okay. And coming to the IBM Datastage tool, all the architectures and version to version architecture changes and the differences between the version to version, I'm going to train you in that how to create the Datastage jobs by using Datastage design. It's a client component. There are architectures, client and server components will be there in Datastage architecture. You will see that administrator, designer, and one more client component is director, Datastage director. All you are going to work on it. So I'm going to train you on, especially we are a developers, we are majorly going to involve with designer, and last one is director, right? Administrator is one more job role. It's a separate job role from developer. It's developers may not involve with the administrator part, because Datastage administrators are going to involve with this part. But anyhow, I'm going to train you how to roll the administrator tasks. Okay, I can train you on administrative tasks. So how to create the projects from scratching from all the Datastage tool, how to involve with the Datastage tool, everything I'm going to train on administrator. After that, it designer. After that, director. Right. So coming to the tool, so all your Datastage jobs are going to be developed under the designer client components. So your required sources and targets. In sources and targets between, you require the transformation. In ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading, right? In ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. So IBM Datastage, in IBM Datastage, what could be your extraction? What you are going to take as extraction? What you are going to take as a loading? Yes, you can take any flat file, any files you can take, sequential file, text file, doc file, .dac, or XML files, anything you can take as an extraction or loading. Similarly, database, Oracle database, Teradata database, DB2 database, you can take as extraction and loading purposes. But transformation purposes, there is a separate stages. You can see that for extraction, you can say that file stages or database stages. You can see it. You can take it as. For loading also, you can take file stages or database stages. but for transformations you have processing stages in data stage. See, I just told you before, aggregate stage, summarized data. I made into the summarized, right? Your records, your 3 records became single record. So how you made it single record? By doing the aggregation, summation, summarization. So this is where your ETL, in ETL, first E in extraction or for loading, you can use either file stages or database stages, but for transformations, you're going to use processing stages. Okay? For transformations, what you are going to use? For processing stages. So once we done so all my training would be on real-time scenarios. It's purely real-time scenarios. I never missed out any scenario. So based upon my experiences and based upon my knowledge, I'm going to give 100% knowledge to you, along with the resume preparation.